Hello, everybody, wherever you may be on this wonderful planet we call Earth. This is the Sideshow Collective coming in for another show regarding the effect. I'm not going to be calling it the Mandela effect from here on in, simply because it's not singular to Mandela himself. There's many, many other things. Small disclaimers before we go. Some thank yous for the people who put positive comments regarding my health in the last video. Thank you very much. I'm feeling a lot better. If I do cough during this conversation, please do forgive me. It's a natural human thing to do, but as I say, hopefully without this PS4 microphone pressed up against my lips, you won't feel it as gross as some of the comments we've actually mentioned. Again, apologies, I felt the information getting out was more important than my health at the time. Maybe something to take on board. Next up, thank you for all the positive comments from many, many people that have come through the site. Lots of people have subscribed, so welcome to the Challenge for Truth. Hopefully we can move forward with this. We can start challenging the powers that were, in a sense of moving the mainstream and the lamestream media into the background and having the media and the people actually speaking the truth getting forefront and centre to what we need to be doing as we move forward into this change that's occurring as we are experiencing it through this effect. Some of us, other people, are experiencing it in different ways, but it seems that there are a lot of people waking up at the moment, more so than I can remember, and I've been doing this for 5 years. So it's an interesting time to be around on the planet anyway. Some comments of the videos of the last video people were mentioning regarding the content of the videos, and it's not my aim to go into the science bit, if you will, regarding, this is that and quantum this and quantum that, which I could actually do, but I'm not going to really do that. People who are experiencing this effect, formerly known as the Mandela effect, are scared, are terrified. People are waking up and they're having lucid dreams, or they're having headaches, you name it. This other one, one of the subs there, a gentleman mentioned he's got a cough, which he can't shake. That seems to be very common. For some reason or other, and I wouldn't even begin to debate that one. I have no idea why that is. Maybe it's a chakra change within the throat. No idea. Just a guess. Regarding the religious elements as well, sometimes I will hit on religion, sometimes I will talk about religious things or the quote religious scripture or text. I'm not overtly religious, I'm not actually religious, but as time goes by, just for the hell of it really, just pardon the pun, if we're going to admit that there are demonic forces around, then we have to also admit that there are angelic forces too. Whether this leads to a man with a beard firing lightning bolts out of his fingers sitting on a cloud being one depiction of God. God is anything that is relevant to self, I feel, for my penny's worth. God is whatever you believe it to be, whether you believe it to be an active consciousness, an etheric consciousness, a universal consciousness, your rabbit called Sid, it doesn't matter. If you believe that thing to be God, then that's God. The problem with offering your power to an entity, any entity, and getting it wrong could be quite catastrophic in some senses. As regard, for example, if you believe that conjurers or magicians or the cabal or the dark forces on this planet that exist at the moment use spells to conjure entities, they now use technologies to conjure entities regarding CERN. But to not track this video for too long, basically what it's about is words carry power. They're not just centered in, they're not just verbs and nouns that are verbalized. They carry weight. It's frequency. Frequency carries weight. It's why law of attraction works so well, because you actually verbalize an intent and it goes into the ether. If you want to get a bit more technical, if you go and research things called torsion fields, and a book by a gentleman called David Wilcock calls The Source Field Investigations, is a good place to start if you want to look at how we can imprint an intent on reality. Therefore, it has been proven by the likes of John Day, and you move into the realms of Aleister Crowley, where these people understood that you can imprint a will onto reality, like a stamp or a trace on paper. You leave an imprint. And that's why I believe, and again, it's just my penny's worth, folks, so don't shoot me down for it, it's just an opinion, is it's all about why the effect only seems to affect imagery rather like Interview with a Vampire with the Vampire. It's the letters, it's the conceptual text. When people verbalise talking about the film, including Anne Rice, who wrote the novel, she says Interview with a Vampire, even though the text has changed, if that makes sense. So the frequency and the intent of the verbal word hasn't changed, and possibly couldn't be changed because of the frequency imprint on reality. The next part of that is, if you change, like, print isn't a frequency, it's letters on a page, which may still carry some intent, but you're writing your intent down, because a lot of people within Law of Attraction use vision boards. Now, to use a vision board, you are singling out an intent within vision, or with even writing down, I want a pay rise, say something along them lines. You then put it on your vision board and it says, I want a pay rise. It's not exactly the words that carry the intent. The intent is carried within the conscious thought of the reader reading the letters, reading the words, and it's the actual intent of the mind that causes the action, not the written word, which is, again, my humble opinion. People who are more into Law of Attraction will probably debate that, but I just feel it's more about frequency and intent of thought, consciousness, active consciousness relaying itself. So without further ado, we'll get into the video. And the first point of call is, a lot of people have been asking, some people have mentioned about the content, as I said, not being too technical, and there's a whole set of reasons, sorry for that, and one of the main reasons is this: I don't want to be bamboozling people for 30, 40 odd minutes. I try to keep these videos as short as possible. Unfortunately, I'm a rambler, so that tends to ramble, but we have a duty really to the people who are, as I just mentioned, who are just waking up to this, folks. Like, these guys are waking up to things. They're waking up to images, they're waking up to land masses being different, they're waking up to possible place names being different. Certainly product names have been shown to be different, particularly the Ford sign, the Volvo sign, for me, are just like, wow, way out there. So we have these things. Now, when I woke up, when I became awake to the reality that I thought was real was not real, and it's actual, I had to come to terms with the fact that the votes don't matter, and we have politicians that have not got the best interest of the people at heart, even though they constantly talk about that. I didn't sleep for 3 days. I couldn't digest that all that I'd been taught all of my life was wrong, and I had nobody in my social circle at that time who was awake. He was even waking up. He was even having a slight inkling of being awake. I woke up before I knew anyone else had. So it's a terrifying time, and let me tell you, you are there by yourself, you are experiencing these things, and you actually do believe you're going crazy, because the information does not sit at all well with someone who's been indoctrinated and brainwashed all their life, and we all are indoctrinated and brainwashed, believe you me. From the minute you go to school, you are being brainwashed, you are being taught this is right, this is wrong, ups, up, down, down, you name it, you are funneled into the system to become the ultimate drone, the ultimate patsy. You are conditioned, is a good word to use. So to follow on from that way of thinking, when people wake up, they have some real serious reactions to being awake. They can become withdrawn, introverted, paranoid. You can withdraw from friends, withdraw from family, can break families up. Let's not overlook that. You can have situations where you can have tumultuous times with family and friends because people around you are not experiencing what you are. Does that mean you're a lunatic? No, you're just perceiving reality differently. And this effect is no different. because what's happening is people are remembering things differently en masse, not just one or two, en masse. We have tens of thousands, if not millions of people waking up to this at the moment. Now, whether it is to do with CERN or whatever, we can only discuss. As I say, these videos are not intended to tell people how to think about this effect. They're simply a guideline for people who are going through this change. You may be looking for some solidarity with other people going through this change. The theories I put out on these videos are not verbatim. The theories, they're my take on this thing, which, to be honest, and I was laughing about this with the missus, we may have just experienced a dimensional jump, yet we're still worrying about the price of milk in the shops. It's just funny how the human spirit is elastic to the point where it just sucks up change to that effect. I mean, we're not talking about the neighbours have moved out. We're talking about a complete possible parallel universe shift or jump. And yet we carry on our daily lives. We still, the kids still go to school. People still have to go to work. It's amazing to me that the human spirit is that indomitable that we just seem to go, right, okay, yeah. And we're dealing with this in a far better way than I would have thought possible, really. There's a lot of people who talk about the effect and they say it's driving them nuts, but they're still going to work, as I say, they're still taking kids to school, and life goes on. So the parallel universe side of this thing is possibly the most provable in the sense of how you could deal with this if you are experiencing these effects. There's going to be other videos out there that are going to talk about the landmass changes and the geography and the amount of states in a certain place and so on and so forth. As I stated, this video is not about that. This video is about helping people understand the possibilities of what may have occurred. A parallel universe shift is very, very possible. Now, we did a little bit of a talking about the CERN stuff last time round, so I won't really be going into that anymore. There's no point in going over it again. But we are in dire straits, really, guys, regarding what CERN are doing. We have a psychopathic elite cabal which are running this planet, possibly with off-world connections, who have no thought other than to open portals to possible negative realms. The other side of the parallel universe argument is that the elite could have foreseen something coming a long time ago, and if you go back to the Roswell crash, there was a theory that went around which suggested that the recovered technology from the crash and the subsequent contact with the ETs afterwards, the Eisenhower meeting, so on and so forth, produced a technology called the Looking Glass. And what that could do when it would be in the presence of a consciousness would show potential futures. Think of it like a mini Stargate, only it does your thoughts rather than transport your matter to another dimension or another place. So therefore you would be standing there when these, from what I read, these spheres would spin and they would generate this puddle-like effect that would become a mirror, and what you would see through there would be potential world events unfolding. If the elites had this technology, well, effectively it's a carte blanche on the future. Basically, they could see whatever they wanted to see. They would be able to prepare for whatever was coming. To my mind, you don't go and spend trillions of dollars and billions of pounds and God knows what else in every other country around the planet. Build underground bases, seed vaults in Norway. The elites are preparing for an event. Whatever that event may be, whether it be Nibiru coming through the solar system, whether it be Earth changes, whether it be a pole shift due to a CME, whatever it may be, they are shit scared of something. Now, I'd like to be quite an optimist about it. I'd like to think they were shit scared of us becoming aware of their shit and us coming after them. But you don't go and then bury yourself thousands of feet under the ground. they wanted to be deep underground. For some reason, they had to be at a certain depth. So you can't rule out a CME, you can't rule out certain other things. However, have the elite now got the ability through CERN and many other devices like CERN around this planet to generate dimensional jumps away from the problem areas? So, for example, was there a possible future seen through looking glass technology where the elite seen themselves being overthrown by the people of the planet and replaced by and governed by the people? Not they lost the power effectively. Did this lead them into a shithouse state where they started jumping through hoops thinking, oh my god, we need to sort this out, we need to get out of here? Have they now created a technology which can selectively crash dimensions together, parallel universes together, in multitude to create the desired reality that they want? Effectively, an ET technology law of attraction machine. It's worth pondering. Okay, guys, this is the thing. This is the religious bit. Okay, at the end of the day, as stated earlier, I'm not religious. Although I'm not adverse to the teachings of angelic souls such as Buddha or Jesus, or anyone that you consider to be an angelic soul. It could be friends, family, anyone. To accept that there's angelic souls, to turn it round on its head a bit, you have to accept that there's a yin to a yang, there's a black to a white, there's an up to a down. We have to then consider the possibility of the satanic angle. Now, throughout history, demons, jinn, negative entities, whichever you want to call it, have always manifest within stories, folklore, and so on and so forth. And I'm at the moment looking into putting a book together regarding these things, where we take a look at the fictional side of what Hollywood puts out. For example, the crystal skulls in the Indiana Jones story, the last film, which didn't go down too well. And we have this flip side of the coin, and we research the truth of that. How much is Hollywood hiding behind the curtain? Basically, what is the truth behind the fiction? Because the old adage, isn't it, truth stranger than fiction? So it's an interesting angle to look at this. So we've been bombarded with these negative images, whether you want to call it Apollyon, whether you want to call it Baphomet, when you want to call it Beelzebub, whatever. The bogey, the bad guy. The yin to the yang of the angelic soul. The theory runs that the elites are in bondage or in worship of what would be considered in the normal tongue of the Western world as Satan, but is more known to them as Apollyon. This entity, it's always struck me as being quite interesting, really, because if you were going to bat for a side, you'd bat for the side you felt could win the game. Yeah, if you were totally neutral and you went into a game and it was basketball, baseball, football, soccer, if you're coming from America, whichever sport it is you choose to follow, but you were total newbie to it, total noob, and you thought, right, okay, I'm going to put some money on this game. You would ask someone who knew what they were doing and you enjoyed the sport, who followed the sport as a fanatic, as a fan, you would ask them, who's the better team? And they would say A or B. It would be the wise move to put your money on the team that were considered the better team, even though sport doesn't work that way, I understand. But you've got better odds betting on the team with the better skills. Yeah. The thing that scares me is the elites, almost to a man, from what I understand, a hook, line and sinker involved with the worship of Apollyon. So if they know more than we do, and that has to be assumed as well because knowledge is power, What do they know that we don't, and why are they siding with the bad guys? Demonic portals, openings of rifts between demonic realms and our realm, been theorized and spoke about in fiction, written about in novels for as long as man's been able to scribe into cave walls. There's always been that otherworldly gate, whether it be the veil of death moving into the afterlife, or whether it be a more esoteric, like in this image of five-pointed star and so on and so forth. The Maya people, the Hopi Indians, the people of ancient cultures always spoke about doorways to other realms. It was nothing out of the ordinary for these people. They did this, but the major thing right now, and the thing with CERN, is we seem to be seeing that the majority, when you've got an effigy, a deity as your symbol of Shiva, that does the dance and destroys the universe for another Indian god to come like that, his name escapes me at the minute. Brahma is it? It comes along and then recreates the universe. It's interesting to me that this angle seems to be taking prevalence now. Is this by design? Are we naive enough to think that the powers that are actually not still in control of the media and not still in control of alternative media and so on and so forth? Because they have their chips on both sides. They've got the game rigged, which is, brings me, I could go on about the Brexit vote and stuff like that, which I will not go into, because basically it's conquered by design. It's invasion by design. Turn the people against each other so they can't stand against you. Divide and conquer. It's exactly what's happening across the Western world. Whether you live in the States, whether you live in the UK, whether you live in Europe, it doesn't really matter. You can take any sector of this planet and you will see division. You will see tribe warfare within the African states. You will see the Muslim and the immigrant crisis regarding, folks coming in from war-torn countries and seeking refuge for a better standard of life in the European states and the European countries, and it's causing turmoil. It's why the vote for leave probably succeeded, because the immigration is an issue in my country. Then you take it over to the States, where you have the racial thing between the Mexicans, the blacks, the whites, the Hispanics, you name it. There's just every single culture in America seems to be turned against each other. On top of that, you have the collapse of the democratic system, or should, by rights, I mean the republic. To call America a democracy is not really how it is. It's a constitutional republic. It's coming at us all ways, guys. It's not just one area. They have got this plan down to a T. If you've got the knowledge, the foreknowledge of some events that are going to take place, you are able to prepare. It's the people that aren't prepared that are going to suffer the fall. So one of the things that a gentleman I follow, a gentleman called Michael Tsarian, once said, at least you're awake. See the positives in it. At least you're awake. At least you know. Because there's people you'll know that aren't awake and don't want to be awake and will never be awake. And when the shit hits the fan, they are going to suffer it worse than others. What's it the Bible says in Revelations? The great deception will come and people will lose their minds. Dogs and cats live together. Man will lay with beast, or something along them lines. Again, please guys, if I've misquoted it, apologies. I'm not versed in all of the things. I just know slight bits. But what I will say is, I can see this coming to pass, because you have this mass confusion. People waking up to realise that the land masses that they've been taught all of their lives are now in a different place on a map. And then you go and look at the old atlases and the old globes from 1856, and they've got the land masses as they are. The other side of the coin, which is baffling me completely, is the fact that the truth, the people who talk truth, who want to talk about, getting the truth out and all this, people like the Kerry Cassidy and Project Camelot, who does a fantastic service there, and hats off to Kerry and their team, and Bill Ryan for what they started, fantastic. One of the main reasons I woke up, one of the greatest points of sources of information, yet the Mandela effect's not mentioned. Not that I've seen so far, and again, forgive me, Kerry, if you are watching this and you have put something out there about it, I haven't seen anything to do with that. And again, with these visionaries, these people who are leading the charge towards being awake and awakening up the masses, people seem to be steering clear of the Mandela effect, or sorry, the effect as it's now known. It's like, it's incredible to me. It's not even being acknowledged. Now, this is a potential dimensional jump. There's more proof of this effect than any other thing. Yet these people are just thinking, you'll have to forgive the background noise, it's my cat, she's just caught a fly. She does this. Very proud of herself. Until the fly gets away and then she gets a couple. So, sorry I digress. So basically what we have is a situation where the world's waking up to things. A lot of people are very, very scared. This effect is widespread, it's getting bigger. More and more people are experiencing it. More and more people are brushing it off as a hoax or whatever. But listen, in all my born days, I'm 45 years young, I cannot remember anything that is more provable than this effect. If it is saying, we need to take a long, hard look at this, and we need to ask ourselves, as a people, are we going to allow these psychopaths to continue to do what they're doing? Because if they get their way, it's the end of the race. It's the end of our way of life. We will be working week-long, 12-hour days for a bag of sweets or a bag of candy if you're from the States. They'll have chips in our babies' heads. They'll have vaccines that completely calcify your pineal gland at the touch or even remove it. They'll probably even be genetically looking at removing it anyway. Interesting times. So we've got this search for truth. Truth is relative to everybody. There's a good thing coming out at the moment, is truth is the new hate speech. Truth is now becoming a swear word. It's now becoming a curse. It's now becoming something that people, when you talk about being a truther or you want to seek truth, people will instantly label you a crazy cat. They are not going to be interested in talking to you. You can start talking and you can see the smirks creeping on the side of the mouth as if to say, oh my God, here comes David Icke too. And until the media, which is the lamestream media on that monolith you've got attached to your wall, your 16.9 monolith, tells otherwise, that you can now believe in this. Case in point, the Pope, the Church, renounced alien life as a hoax, as a joke, as a thing for crazy people who take injections in nursing homes. Hey presto, the Pope's now coming out talking about there are aliens and everyone should be welcoming them and blah blah blah. They're talking about putting a landing pad at the UN. They've now got an ambassador for alien contact at the UN. Some woman who gets paid possibly megabucks to sit on her ass waiting for ET to land. It's all smoke and mirrors, folks. All of it. They've been in touch with these entities for eons. These entities have been around for eons, sorry. The governments of the world have been at least in contact with them unofficially since the 40s, the 30s. The human race is in its infancy as regards race, as regards level 1 or level 2 races go. We're not even at 0.05. Yet we've got technology to collapse dimensions. It's like giving a baby a shotgun. In fact, I'll even go a bit further. It's like giving a baby a button to a nuclear weapon. It's incredible that we've got the power that we have, without the intellect or the maturity to use it constructively. To stay on the truth, by now, you folk who are out there who are listening to this, who are aware, may have come through the time of the 9/11 tragedy, the bombing of the Two Towers. I say bombing because that's what it was. It wasn't planes. Back when 9/11 occurred, I was asleep. Not figuratively, I was asleep to what was going on this planet. My first instinct was terrorists have bombed America, like millions upon millions of other people. The days that followed had me thinking, hang on a minute, this doesn't make sense. And that single event woke more people up on this planet than anything else. Truth has a way of finding its path. Whether you're bombarded with all the media, you think about it, guys. You take your own lives into account. From day one, you've been bombarded and you've been indoctrinated and you've been brainwashed, yet you're awake. How did that happen? You'd still drink the same shit fluoride out of the taps, and your toothpaste and your chewing gum and what have you, your fluoride is still there. So how is it some people are totally, completely asleep to what goes on this planet, but yet you aren't? Something is different about you. You've still took the same shite food in through the McDonald's chains or the burger chains, the same Coca-Colas, the same Pepsis, the same crap chemical compounds that everyone else has. You've ingested just as much fluoride as everyone else, yet you still are awake. Something is different about you. Something is special in that regard. You are able to see past it spiritually, cognitively, intellectually. You see past it. It hasn't affected you like it's affected the other people. By rights, fluoride should work on everyone, but doesn't seem to work on us. It's something again to be considered. Right, folks, going to wrap it up. Thank you very, very much for spending the time listening to this. I'm sorry if it was drawn out a little bit. I was aiming for the 15-minute mark and never seem to ever get that. Thanks for watching the video. There will be more coming forward. Any comments are appreciated as long as they're mature, have a point, instead of just personal attacks. I think we got through that one with only one cough, so bonus. You can contact the Soullight Collective at soullight@outlook.com. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Any comments, any talks you would like to get done in the future, any points of view you'd like to share, please drop them in the comments box below. Everything is welcome. Namaste. Have a great day, guys.